Ever wondered about the secrets behind your favorite movies? You know, those little things that make you say, huh, I never knew that. Welcome to the channel. Here are 20 random movie facts that you probably didn't know. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep getting fascinating facts. Would you believe me if I told you that Bruce Willis, the tough guy from Die Hard, turned down the role of Sam in the movie Ghost? Fact 1, but that's exactly what happened. He said he didn't understand how the movie would work with the main character being dead for the majority of the movie, and the role went to Patrick Swayze. I guess he figured it out because, 9 years later, he starred in the movie The Sixth Sense. Fact 2. The first movie DreamWorks ever released wasn't animated. It was a live-action thriller called The Peacemaker on September 26, 1997. The original company was DreamWorks Pictures, founded by Jeffrey Katzenberg, Steven Spielberg and David Geffen as a live-action and animation film studio. The division, DreamWorks Animation, was formed in 1998, releasing their first film, Ants, in October 1998. Now, sometimes even the biggest stars have a bad day at the box office. Fact 3. Fred Durst directed the 2019 movie The Fanatic, starring John Travolta and Devon Sawa, that earned $3,153 from 52 theaters in the US on its opening day, making it a US box office failure. It was a thriller that, well, didn't exactly thrill audiences. Did you know that James Cameron, the man who brought us Titanic, is quite the artist? No, I'm not talking about directing. Fact 4. James Cameron drew all the sketches in Jack's sketchbook, even the famous drawing of Rose. Who knew the man who sank the Titanic could also capture a lady's heart with a pencil? Back in the old days, movie showtimes were like a box of chocolates. You never knew when they'd start. Fact 5. Having standard showtimes for films was not common until 1960. Previously, most films would just play on a loop, and people could enter at any time. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho required that people watch from the beginning to the end and made showtimes more standard. It's amazing how such a small change made a world of difference. Remember that magical snow scene in The Wizard of Oz? Fact 6. The snow in the poppy field scene was made from asbestos, which was commonly used for artificial snow in movies at the time. Back then, they didn't know how dangerous it was, but it just goes to show even in a land of Oz, things ain't always what they seem. Fact 7. Rain Man, the touching story of an autistic savant, was actually inspired by a real person named Kim Peek. Kim had an incredible memory and could remember almost anything he read. It's amazing how real life can inspire such powerful stories. Sometimes, the scariest movies are the ones made on a shoestring budget. Fact 8. The movie Paranormal Activity had a budget of only $15,000 but made $194 million. During the screening, people were walking out so often that one studio executive thought the film was bombing. They later learned that the viewers were actually leaving because they were too frightened. It was filmed on a home video camera to achieve the look and feel of a home video and to keep production costs low. Proof that you don't need a Hollywood budget to scare the pants off audiences. Now this one might surprise you. Fact 9. Nintendo owns the rights to 2 pornographic movies, Super Hornio and Super Hornio 2. These 2 pornographic parodies of the Super Mario video game series released at the same time as the series' first official film, Super Mario Bros. Nintendo, brought the rights to them to immediately halt the distribution of the adult films. Remember Twister, the movie that blew everyone away? Fact 10. In 1997, Twister became the first movie ever released on DVD in the US, and folks went crazy for it. It's amazing how quickly technology changes, ain't it? Hagrid, the lovable half-giant from Harry Potter, was actually played by 2 actors. Fact 11. Robbie Coltrane played the human Hagrid, while Martin Bayfield, a former basketball player. Grace Kelly, the beautiful actress who starred in Rear Window and To Catch a Thief, had a surprisingly short film career. Fact 12. The Golden Age movie star film career as a leading lady lasted 4 years, during which she only made 11 movies, of which 4 are all-time classics. She retired at age 26 and never made another movie despite Hitchcock's numerous requests for her to act in more movies. Now I know a thing or two about making movies, and sometimes you gotta take a risk to make a great film. That's exactly what Tom Hanks did with Forrest Gump. Fact 13. Tom Hanks didn't charge a fee for Forrest Gump. Instead, he took percentage of the film's gross profits, which resulted in earnings of around $40 million to $60 million, significantly more than his typical acting fee at the time. Turned out to be a pretty good deal for him. Anthony Hopkins, the brilliant actor who played Hannibal Lecter, is known for his chilling performances. But did you know that one of his most iconic lines in The Silence of the Lambs was actually improvised? Fact 14. When he made that slurping sound after talking about eating a census taker's liver, it wasn't in the script. Pure genius, I tell ya. Remember that scene in Die Hard where Hans Gruber falls to his death? Well, it turns out that Alan Rickman, who played Gruber, wasn't expecting to be dropped so soon. The director wanted a genuine reaction, so he told the stunt team to release Rickman early. Talk about method acting. Ghostbusters is a hilarious movie, but it also has a touch of sadness behind it. The role of Peter Venkman was originally written for John Belushi, but he sadly passed away before filming began. Fact 16. Bill Murray took on the role and knocked it out of the park. But the filmmakers paid tribute to Belushi by using some of his unused Saturday Night Live material in the script. Harrison Ford, the man with the hat and the whip, is known for his action hero roles. Fact 17. One of his most memorable scenes in Raiders of the Lost Ark was actually improvised. In the script, Indiana Jones was supposed to have a long fight with a swordsman, but Harrison Ford was feeling under the weather that day and asked if he could just shoot the guy instead. The animators at Pixar are known for their attention to detail, and Finding Nemo is no exception. Fact 18. To make the underwater world as realistic as possible, the animators took scuba diving lessons and even consulted with marine biologists. They wanted to make sure the fish movements and coral reefs were accurate, and it shows in the final product. The wildebeest stampede in The Lion King is one of the most iconic scenes in animation history. Fact 19. The wildebeest stampede scene took 3 years to animate because of the complexity of the scene and the number of wildebeest. The animators used a combination of hand-drawn animation and computer graphics to create the scene. They actually programmed the wildebeest to move individually, which gave the stampede a sense of realism and chaos. Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction is considered a modern classic, but it wasn't always an easy sell. In fact, the script was initially rejected by TriStar Pictures, who thought it was too violent and bizarre. Thankfully, Miramax Pictures saw its potential and decided to produce the film. Well folks, there you have it, 20 random movie facts that you probably didn't know. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more interesting facts. And don't forget to share your favorite movie fact in the comments below.